martial art. I get a feeling of the color relationships I need. What I'm doing is setting up the problem I need to solve for that day. And in my mind, the problem has to be just almost scientific. It has to be a very precise problem that I like to solve. I know I'm not going to solve it with my rational mind. Sometimes, in order to find what you're going to do and find yourself, you have to really look deep into yourself. And you're going to find some dark moments in that stuff. And you're going to maybe go through times like I went through times of pretty much self-destruction, you know? I did anything that I thought would get me out of myself and see something new. I really believe in the so-called truth.
This passion has to say, it ain't so bad. They call me mad. The best I had, still better than the ones that came before. So
the intent of my work is to create a metaphor for freedom. I don't want to be caught within a rectangle, a square, any frame. That's why I'm working on just loose canvas. And I believe what Pollock said, emotion, emotion, emotion. You can't catch it in a second. It's no good. So I can work on a painting for years until I find that correct nuance, that small detail that ignites the whole image.
My lyrics breathing, so I'm listening. That's when my mind is gently rocking. If you know me, the war I'm mocking. When souls are talking, dead man walking. Dead man walking, dead man
walking. Pretty dark time. And what I was doing is I loved musicians when they opened their score. They would erase things and you see the notes. I thought they were absolutely beautiful, all the notations. So I started making vessel shapes that related to Japan within the 5 bars. And they were all right. They were all right. And one day I'm totally depressed. I need something to impact that painting, just to give it some voltage. I opened my eyes and the dog next door, a huge greyhound dog, comes in, and I open my eyes and it's staring at me. And I said, shit, this is the only thing really alive in my studio. And I just went over these huge 6x6 and drew the dog. And I went over every painting and drew the dog. And as I got better at drawing, you have to learn how to draw. I just say, okay, how do I draw? And so I did it more and more and became more elegant. It turned into a horse. And I'm still working on horse images 20 years later. That was the impetus. That's how things begin. I paid attention. It's love, it's passion, it's paying attention to detail and the duration of time. Yeah, I lived in Japan. It's about 5 years I lived in Japan, and I learned how to mix ceramics. I would say pretty good ceramics. And I love the glaze effect. And I was thinking, how can I reproduce that glaze effect, the pouring of glaze, over something that I used to make, which is tsubos, which are large urns, and it would just ash would just run off the shoulders. Fell in love with pottery, and then I let go of it after a while because I wanted a more neutral form to work on and less object-oriented. And I couldn't find another method. And I was using wax and fire and a basic alchemy. And I would put the oil, paint into the wax, mix it up very well, and then take a spatula or whatever and just put it on very thick. And then I would take a propane torch and be very meticulous and I would let it rain down, and then when I wanted to stop, I'd put it on the floor. I'd work on that way. I'd work on all 4 ways. Then I would add color, detail, nuance. Again, pick it up, let the rain just begin to touch all those moments of color, moments of veiling. Again, this would be maybe a full week because I had to let each section dry or it would just puddle up. And then I just fell in love with the method because I was doing fire and glaze in Japan.
Where are we going?
Straight. You want to take a picture of it?
No, keep walking. I'm video.
I'm going left. Watch it. Don't get over there. Please come back here. You're going to put it on the way on the left. No, you're going to get the middle. But I remember one teacher never talked to me for 2 years. And I could throw well. I had this thing called a subo, just a big, large jar, absolutely perfectly thrown. And I'm laying back and I'm sort of doing a beat, like, with a pottery tool on the clay. So it's going, and the clay's going in, all the way around. That one teacher who hadn't spoken to me for 2 years looked at me and said, that's the first real mark you've made. That's the only real thing. Now that you left Japan, that's the first real beat, real design that's yours. Remember that. You never said another word. Never said another word.
I live up to how you see me. In order to get it right, this dog's gonna run free. She offered heaven, baited me with hell. Through the glass across the park, she had something to sell. Lured by fantasy, my weakness for X, rebellion and in every text.
You're gonna have the muse all done. When it comes, you better stay up 24/7 and use it up. Yeah, use up the life. That's when you use up the life. It's when you got the muse and you're on fire.
Yeah, you found your painting. Beautiful.
Watch this. Splash. Get close. Look, come here. Look at the white.
Behind the art is a sadness, a confusion deep within, a madness, desperation, that only I can wallow in. Behind the art is a thinker. Behind the mask is the heart.
Doesn't matter what. Doesn't have to be something. Pure abstraction. You know, I think real pure abstraction, real pure realism come together. If it's pure, straight on, they both are the exact same thing. It's not opposites. Abstraction and realism. They're not opposites. It's the exact same thing when you get to the core of it. You do anything intensely enough, you know, it becomes real. That's what you're trying to do here. Real to the best of your ability to find some sort of acknowledgement of yourself in the world. You get that taste of yourself, like the poet Stanley Kuhn says, that taste of yourself. Once you get that little taste of yourself, then you got your core rhythm. Then you know how you move. And you're the only one that can move that way, you know? Only you that can put the beat down. You know, syncopate. You syncopate your way through life.
My fall was a stepping stone. My fall was a stepping stone. When there's problems in your life, when there's trouble and there's strife, that fall is a stepping stone. Still locking, and she's crying, and she's dying, and she's crying, looking down from heaven, falling in the hair. Going on all angels, locked up in a cell, waiting for an answer. There ain't nothing coming back.
This is what I look at. This is what I glimpse at as I drive, as I walk. In any space, I find a certain context and I glimpse it, and then, like this, could it be a painting? Not painting, it has to be some sort of stereotype. This is a painting to me. And if I can do something, destroy it, create something new, I'll do it in any form. I can take these rocks right now, I can take the cracks in the road, I can take the tar. The drawing relates, the color relates, the weight becomes a little off weight. I can take rhythm, gesture, proportion. It works for me, and I'm moved by it because somebody else's hands have been on this wall besides mine. Many hands have been on this wall. So all I am is retracing steps, traces of wherever it went before.
About the brilliant prices, fragile harvest. Behold, the visionary twisting unique, gone too soon. Penetrating smoke screens, blowing whistles on wrong, ignoring the civil servants, spreading his truth and song.
Artists are very fortunate, if they use their material to transcend themselves and transcend themselves into some form of light.
Dancing, you're the darkness. You're the light. Darkness in the chamber of my gun that I cannot bear. You are the light in my heart that never leaves me alone. Your prison is never here.
Somebody called you an artist. That was, wow, you're great. And when I heard that word, all I thought it was Picasso. Fuck Picasso, man. He's not the only one. You can't be overridden. You can't bring people into your studio. You gotta kick every one of those fuckers out if you wanna make some good work. And it's taken me years to kick every fucker out. I went through a Twombly stage, a Pollock stage, Giacometti, I think I kicked their voices out already, but you gotta do it. You gotta cleanse the soul, let go of everything, let it go down the stream. And you just meditate on who and what you are. Sometimes when you're passionate, obsessive, and you care, it can be that edge between creation and destruction. I hit destruction and I almost died. Good friends, doctors, Peter Karshmar helped me stay alive. And that's something you have to transcend. And I only transcend that when I went back to Japan, took a little sumi ink and dropped it in a droplet of water. Then things appear to me again and it can carry on. A place that is not a place in a space that is not a space. I find myself alone, not lonely. Alone. I don't believe in time, only moments. Small increments of meaning. Caught in a glimpse, passing by black spots before the eye. I don't believe in time, only moments. Recurring one after another, pushing something forward toward the light. Only scars remind us of the past.
In the arms of God, so ready to let you go, but I still pick up the phone to hear that contagious laugh. You make me smile about everything. Don't wanna have to close my eyes and see so much more. So much more is a memory. So much more than a memory to me.
Every artist must understand light, where it comes from, how it reflects, how it creates shadows, how it warms your face, your being. Every artist, when looking up at the sky, looking down at the ground, looking at mud. Mud even creates beautiful light and shadow if you're in the right place. Every photographer, musician, look at the light between notes. Look at the light in architecture. I mean, it is where it isn't. The building isn't the building without the windows. The light is the architecture.
roasted fish to go with his liquors. As the candles flickered, man, she was fine. He was a horseman, and his kindness to the people kept his memories green. In a rage of desire, like a doe pierced by an arrow, he was zealous to come clean.
We do the opposite. Let's do a figure, a recognizable, to some degree, figure. And it was just a nice play between two things. They're not dichotomies or opposites. They just flow into each other because it's my mark. I can't get away from my own core rhythm and my own marks. Yeah, that makes me who I am. Some of the paintings come out great when I'm angry, because the stroke has such vehemence and vitality to it. Other times it's pure, I ruin it. Then I just throw it across the studio and it all falls apart. But even after it falls apart, I put it back together. And sometimes the collage is much nicer than what it was before. Portraits is something I had to do. I think every artist, should at least try it. And as I got better at drawing, I found my style and get away from any kind of academic stroke. I found my own way into my own self. And that's a journey. And it's been a wonderful journey. So, whatever mood I'm in, usually that's what comes through. And it's a real poignant question. How do you know when you're done? Are you ever done? Because I could go on forever. I could work on the same painting for the rest of my life. Creation, destruction. How far do you want to go? I know what my sacred spaces is. I know when I enter it. I have to respect it. It'll go away. The sacred space has something to do with the muse. You just try to keep that going as long as you can. It has something to do with the muse. As long as you can. It has something to do with the muse. It has something to do with the muse. Do with the muse. As long as you can. You just try to keep that going as long as you can. As long as you can. As long as you can.
This new work is an extension of my earliest concerns over the last 41, 2 years that I've been attempting to make art. I still have a body to them, a physical, a somatic feeling to the work that you're confronted somehow, body to body. The canvas has become my body. I'm not looking at it any other way than something that I see, visualize, and try to enter into in a very directly emotional way. And when I'm mostly in my body has a sense of wisdom about it. And I believe everything is contained within the intellect, the heart, the spirit, all comes together in a gesture. And that gesture can be a gesture and a line of a poem, words, language. And in my sense right now, I've done a lot of writing, but right now the gesture is trying to becoming more transparent to the world. I always make a thing. I feel like I'm a laborer, and I'm very proud of that. I go to work, like as anybody goes to work, It's a labor of love. So What I'm really trying to get at is digging deeper into myself to get a sense of something that is authentic. And I believe when I hit that well, if you dig a lot of holes, you're not going to reach oil. If you dig one deep enough, you might get lucky. I might get lucky, make 10 great paintings, or good paintings. I can't use the word great, but 10 really good paintings in my life. And I'm getting to the point where I really believe once you hit oil, other people realize what oil looks like. And that's where you communicate, that you're on the same spiritual possibility. The one thing that can connect me outside of my own, sense of being in the world is to relate to other people's beings in the world. This is what I cook up every day. This is, I'm a farmer, I'm a plumber, I'm a carpenter. I'm putting something together that maybe has some aspect of healing. And if I can just do a little bit of that, I feel like widen the field. I used to throw pots, and was a very good potter. I studied in Japan in a place called Bizen, and I could really throw really good pots. And I got these pots, and I would make these things called tsubos, which are big, big urns, very large urns. And I just loved throwing them, and I kept throwing them, and got very, very, very good at them, lately I've been loving going back to mud. Just love mud. I think it goes back my love of clay. I love wet clay, and the first time you take wet clay, you put your hand in wet clay and just pull out a section of it, and there's nothing more beautiful than that to me still. It's not like glass that already has a sense of beauty or a notion of beauty to it. Clay has nothing. It's neutral. And you have to bring something to it that has some sense of, authenticity. And I'm still doing that. I'm still putting my hand into any material the same way as I first touched clay. It's all coming back. It's funny. My mom just passed away, and a lot of things happen when somebody close to you dies. You revisit the past. And not only revisiting the past with my experience with my mom, but you go back and you clean out the old attic, the old houses, and you see what you were reading. You see the things you love, and you go, "Oh my God, I have the same book by my bed right now that I did when I was 15." 15, I was into Zen and the art of archery, and that's when I went to Japan to learn how to have a Zen archery bow in my house. So I cannot deny where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a beatnik hippie generation. That was my influences growing up. I have a volatility about myself. I have a softness about myself. It's more than bipolar. I don't even know what the term would be, but there's many, many layers that I've had to dig into in order to really say something that's truly myself. Just because everything seems so thin. I have a lot of work because I need to work hard. I really am not good staying inside my own mind too long. So I go to work. I see a white canvas and I just want to paint it black, stones or something. I just want to do something to it. I'm not going to sit there and argue with it. I'm not going to sit there and try to, have a dialogue. It is a thing in the world, an object. Just like a chair is, just like this floor is, just like the ceiling is. It's like when I open the car door, that knob, I put my hand in and I got to open that door. And I need to do with this thing is transform it. And as the years go on, and I see differently, I believe differently, I look at some of these old canvases, and I go back and rework them. I don't have a format now. I'm not using the four edges of the canvas to define anything. They're just there. This is just a blank. It's like painting air right now for me. It just happens to be in the form of a canvas. It could be in any form. I'm doing sculpture. Right now, I have language that I set out in this sort of a lot of 4x4, 5x4, 6x6, but very square rectangles, basic geometry that mean nothing to me. And what I'm trying to do is deny the geometry. I'm trying to take the architecture out of space. This whole new body of work, it's called Life is a Beautiful Stain. And I've always been moved, by a dirt, a smudge, a stain in the road, a crack, a tar mark, some rust falling off the side of a building, worn, anything worn. In Japanese, they have a term called wabi-sabi. Wabi is a sense of something that's been rusted over and worn, but there's a sense that a person was there and many hands went over the same object many times. an object like I love hanging out at an old bar, having a good drink, and just hanging out there and feeling the edge of that bar,
just,
the old oak.
how deep you want to go. Some people don't want to go too deep. They want to keep it light and easy. I'm just not a light and easy guy. And when I see that, I'm just not moved. You know, it looks a little bit like wallpaper to me. So when you ask that question, which is a poignant question, when are you done? I really would have to say I'm never done.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it?
When I think back, I remember all the things you said.
And she's dying, and she's crying, looking down from heaven, falling in the hell, calling on all angels, locked up in a cell, waiting for an answer. There ain't nothing coming back.